good afternoon, good evening, depending on when you're watching this. Good to have you here. I'm still down in Florida. It is a sunny, beautiful day here. I think we're into the early 90s already. It's about, 10 o'clock. So this weekend, pretty amazing. These were two churches. Well, one I hadn't played before, and the other I played about 5 years ago during one summer in COVID, or actually one winter during COVID down here. And wow, okay, so where to begin? So Saturday night, I drove 3 hours or so to Clermont, Florida, and this church is located inside a warehouse, and they've converted the warehouse into a church. Hey, so first of all, my name is Dave. I'm a Christian recording artist and a worship leader based in New Jersey, but I travel up and down the East Coast, leading nights of worship and nights of hope. And so what you've stumbled on, if you're just here for the first time, is what we call the Green Room Podcast. And it's kind of a wrap up of my weekend's shows, just talking about how God moves through this ministry and how we see him move kind of all over the place. So in Clermont, Florida, so this was a warehouse, and the woman that booked me there, she's been trying to get me there for a couple of years. She stumbled across me on Facebook and loved what she heard, and so she's anyway, just keep her name is Pat, keep her in prayer. She's going in for surgery in a couple of weeks, so if you could just pray for her and pray for strength and speedy healing. Her and her husband are just amazing people. So I get there, load in. The space was great. I think, I'll be able to share some footage. This was the debut of playing Love Is on the guitar. So I'll put that in the end of this, at the end of this podcast here. But I played for almost 2 hours, and I guess they've got a pretty large youth group in this place. So I think they said there were 85 kids that come to church there on a Sunday morning, which was just amazing to hear, right? We never see those numbers up in the Northeast. So really great to hear that. And so as people start filing in, I reconnected with a couple of folks that have seen me on Facebook and had never met me before. So it was really great to kind of just be around that, see people, meet people for the first time in person. And then, these kids started coming in. And so, we had, 18, 20 kids that were there. Kids meaning, young adults, let's put it that way. And so I play, a couple hours, a lot of worship. These folks are really interested in worship. And so I led with a lot of worship and then jumped over to the guitar and played some of my tunes, told some stories. And I was chatting with the pastor after. He said, that was great, like really great. He said, I didn't know what to expect. And I think we're going to bring you back for some other events. And I was like, that's awesome. He said, well, probably my favorite part was when you went over to the guitar and just kind of very mellow singer-songwriter, kind of just chatting through the songs and chatting through the stories and what God teaches me while I'm writing this stuff. And it was pretty amazing to just chat with him. But at the end of the night, I came up and I finished the way I usually do, and I said to the pastor, I said, do you want to close this out in prayer? And he said, yeah, I do. He said, I want to do something different, though. I want to have you prayed over by the kids that are here, the young adults that are here. So, I don't know, we probably had 5 or 7 teenagers and early 20s kids come up on stage, and this one girl prayed for me. And I mean, that's super powerful, right? To just experience something like that and realize that what you're doing and what God has gifted me with and the calling that I'm trying to follow affects people in this way. And it was really quite a special night. And got 3 kids sponsored, which is always a great thing to see happen. And just lives, it's incredible to watch God move through the room. So then I drive out of there, pack up, drive out of there, and head to Daytona Beach for the next morning for a service in Holly Hill, which is just north of Daytona Beach. And so I played this church 5 years ago. And the pastor there is fantastic. Great guy. Just such a caring, loving man. And he's so dedicated and devoted to his congregation, really wanting to be a part of their lives. And so they've been going through a little bit of a struggle over the last, year or so, and just trying to figure some stuff out. And but I said, well, how do you want to, what do you want to do here? How do you want to work this? And he said, well, I just want to make sure I'm not going to place my hand here on I'm not going to go to that tree. So I said, what do you want to do? He said, well, let's just see what God has in store for the morning. But generally, half an hour of worship and then some announcements, and then, we'll have a sermon, blah, blah, blah. So I set up, chatting with some guys before the show. And this one guy, JJ, had seen me at the last time I was there 4 or 5 years ago. And he said, man, I'm looking forward to this. It's great to see you again. I'm heading in for some open heart surgery tomorrow. So I'm really, needing some worship and just some time with God. And I said, great. I said, looking forward to it. That's what this morning is going to be all about. So I had the set list picked out and gave the guys the songs and started out pretty standard, gratitude and build my life and Hosanna and good Father. And then pastor came up, talked a little bit about the offering and some announcements, and a few people are just talking about some of the stuff that's going on in the church. And then he kind of threw it back over to me. And during that time, I had I shifted from the key of B flat to the key of C because I wanted to play a song called How He Loves. And it's an old tune by a guy named John Mark McMillan. And I've kind of reintroduced it into the set. So I played that during the offering. And then, people started coming forward, kneeling at the altar, just holding each other while they were praying for each other and being prayed for. And then this one guy, JJ, comes up. And I had shifted from How He Loves to, Battle Belongs. And so JJ comes up and he kneels down on the floor before the stage and just lifts his hands, closes his eyes, and is just full-blown worship. And then some other folks come up beside him and they start, just holding him, praying over him, speaking over him, and just praying for strength and for healing and for the doctor's hands and all this stuff. And then I shift and transition into This Is Our God. And I mean, I literally had tears just streaming down my face as I was leading. It's tough sometimes to lead worship this way because it gets so emotional. And so I was, singing, trying to sing, and, just tears strolling down my face, and went into This Is Our God by, that great tune by Phil Wickham. And it was just super, super emotional. And, it gave me chills. Even talking about it now, just gives me chills. And so I finished those 2 songs and kind of wrapped up my portion. Pastor came up and spoke a little bit about the love of the Father. But when I finished that set, I really just had to go to the back of sanctuary, go to the bathroom, kind of wipe my eyes, splash my face, blow my nose, and just kind of breathe for a minute. Because when you experience worship that is that powerful, and you see people responding to it so deeply, it really takes an emotional toll on. I'm even having trouble just trying to describe this, but it's incredible. It's just incredible. So then we wrapped up the day, and he came up to me after, and I'll put a picture of him here. He's actually in surgery right now as I record this, so we're praying for him already. And I posted it inside of our membership area too, so you guys can be praying for him too. But he came up after me and said, man, he said, I needed that. I just needed that. And I didn't even have a chance to give it a child sponsorship appeal. And so we just talked for a little bit after, and I said, man, I'll be praying for you. I've got a community of people that'll be praying for you as well. And hope you guys can hear me. There's a flock of, is it called a flock of crows here? Oh my gosh. Hey guys. Oh, there's gotta be 15 crows here. And so it was, I mean, as you can tell, as I'm trying to describe this, it was an incredible morning. And so I said to myself as I was driving away, I said, I was here for one reason this morning. And that was to let this guy, JJ, engage in worship the way that he needed to engage in worship. And to prepare himself, because this is his third surgery, his third open heart surgery. He was born with some kind of heart disease and something going on inside his heart that just needs a couple of surgeries. And so that was why I was there on Sunday morning. And again, it was an offering type of event. And I took it because I said, I've got this crew of folks that are walking with me. And we call it the worship room. And there's this membership area where folks, pay monthly to be involved in this. And then we donate a portion of that back to child sponsorship. And the balance just goes right back into keeping the worship room open so we can give people tools to draw closer and closer to Jesus. But fundamentally, it's there so that I can continue to do what I'm doing, and we can do it together and have mornings and evenings like the ones that we had this past weekend, Saturday and Sunday night. And it's pretty special. So that was week 5 now of the We Worship Together tour. And man, this one already, this is, I just am amazed at how God is working. So you guys that are members, thank you. If you want to become a member, just go to jointheworshiproom.com and you can get involved in all that we're doing and how we do it. And you can become a part of this, be part of our community where people are praying for you and with you. And just know that you're a part of something that's changing lives every single weekend for sure, and sometimes daily. So thanks for tuning in to the Green Room podcast today. I'm glad I was able to share that moment with you, and enjoy the videos that'll be on the back end here and some of the pictures, and tell your friends. Okay? Thanks for being here. Become a member. Head over to jointheworshiproom.com, and we'll see you inside there, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Take care.
Let go of the wheel. The mountains in front of me, oh, they're gonna.
I've got a kind of a new record out called Live to Love. And there's a song on there called Love Is. It's kind of the new single. As an independent artist, it's always funny to say that because there's no label here. It's just me and you guys and God. That's how this ministry works. So, welcome to the world of independent Christian music. But I decided to release this because we get so hung up on, I write a lot of songs with the word love in them. And that last one, when I wrote the devotion on it, it was basically just swap out the word love for the word Jesus. And it turns into a really interesting devotion with that song. So if you buy the record tonight, which I encourage you to do, check out that first song on there. And but this idea of love and how we use it, I mean, Jesus, like we think we can define love, right? But Jesus defined love. And we've got a Bible study that I lead, and we're walking through the book of John, verse by verse. We're in year 3 right now. And it is a very exegetical study, but we're in chapter 19. It's hard to read chapter 19, because that's the chapter where Jesus gets crucified and the crown is just being pushed down into his head, the blood is just running. And yet you think about that and why Jesus did that. Obedience to the Father, yes. But he did it for you. He did it for me. And so I wrote this song called Love Is. And it's just so much more than we can ever process in our tiny little brains. Love has a price. Love isn't free. Love laid his life down for you and for me. Love's holding on. Love's letting go. Love is the truth inside of everything we know. And love is here. It's the light that burns in the darkest dark, the hole inside of the coldest heart, 1,000,000 miles that don't feel that far. And love is, it's the missing piece that you're looking for, the hand that opens every door, the thing you want and you can't ignore. That love is all of this and more. Love leaves the light on. Love sings a love song. Love lets you in and makes you feel like you belong. Love is a long ride. Love always wants to try. Love hears every story, every time. It's the light that burns in the darkest dark, the hole inside of the coldest heart, 1,000,000 miles that don't feel that far. And love is, it's the missing piece that you're looking for, the hand that opens every door, the thing you want and you can't ignore. That love is all of this and more. He's hanging there and love runs red, still he's holding on. Love still loves when all seems lost. Love wanted at the cross. He wanted at the cross. It's the light that burns in the darkest dark, the hole inside of the coldest heart, 1,000,000 miles that don't feel that far. And love is, it's the missing piece that you're looking for, the hand that opens every door, the thing you want and you can't ignore. That love is all of this and more. All of this